Morning Coffee. I am Mark Cook, and you have joined us on the Radio Vision Network, and we're so glad you did because I have the man with me. He is the co-owner of Mosquito Squad of Mount Laurel. His name is George Softly. George, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. How are you, Mark?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, the Mosquito Squad, you guys, you do awesome work. You eliminate those little bastards that we got biting us all summer long. I hate those things.
I call them flying annoyances.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes and ticks.
Stink, dude. I hate them. But you guys take care of that problem for people. Tell me about it.
Well, at Mosquito Squad, we give big people back their backyard. So our entire intention is to make your backyard livable to be in. And we believe the best way to do that is to allow you to use your backyard is by treating your yard instead of treating yourself.
Perfect. Right, because a lot of people, they react to it, right? It's not preventative. They wait till they get their mosquito bite and then they put some stuff on it or whatever. They itch it and it's annoying and nobody likes mosquito bites. Listen, if you like mosquito bites, you're a freak, and I don't really, we're not worried about you. Nobody likes mosquito bites. But you guys actually are in the preventative side of things. You guys, you really do it all. You have systems that you could put in somebody's backyard that would just continuously mist the yard to make sure that it keeps all the mosquitoes and fleas and ticks and all those things that, you know, that irritate us and our pets and everybody else. It keeps it out of your yard. This is really cool stuff that you guys do.
Well, misting systems allow you control on demand.
Okay.
So not only can we set up a regimented time schedule for when mosquitoes or flying annoyances are going to be most active at your property, which is typically sunrise and sunset and kind of in the middle of the night. So those are generally the times we'll pre-program it to go off to give you the best protection you can have.
Okay.
But it's also on-demand protection. The machines are so brilliant, you can use a phone app to make it go off whenever you'd like.
Really?
If you're getting ready to go out for dinner, you know, you want to enjoy the outside, you just want to make sure there's nothing in the yard. You just click a button, 30 seconds later, you go out into the yard, and everything is mosquito and flying annoyance free.
Now, I mean,
those systems are more than just mosquitoes and ticks. Those do the flies, the gnats.
Wow, like that'll cover like any flying insect in my yard, pretty much. Like it'll just keep my yard clear, and it's safe, right?
Safe is never a word you use with pesticides. So that's the first thing. Safe is never a word. Now, it's designed for residential use.
Okay.
So the products that we're using are designed for use in yards.
Okay.
You never want to have kids or pets or people out in the middle of a yard while it's spraying. So you do need to give it that time to hit. But it leaves no residual in the yard. Right.
It's not going to kill the grass, and it's not going to do right. Those things. I guess safe is the wrong word, and you're the expert, so I should really.
Well, the state of New Jersey doesn't allow anyone to use the word safe when related to any pesticide.
Yeah, and it makes sense, and you'll have to forgive me for that, because you're right. Based on the category, it can't be called technically safe because of what it is, but you guys have developed your system so that it is.
It's a tried and tested system.
Yeah, and it's really cool, and I want people to know that you can have this system, and you can have Mosquito Squad come out and treat your yard, and that it's not going to damage the ecosystem of the yard. It's just going to kill the bugs. That's what we want.
Exactly. No, myself and my technicians, all the guys employed with me, are all licensed through the state.
Okay.
So we go through a training process. We make sure that we have an idea on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Our goal is not to just go out and blow pesticide everywhere. It's really to eliminate the problems.
Right.
So however we can best do that for people's properties is the way we do it.
And that's good to know, because when you hire a company, you want to make sure that the people that are servicing are the tops in the field, and that's what George has done. He's made sure that his guys have all of the certifications and the requirements by the state that you need to be able to administer this stuff, because it's important. You want to make sure that the guys that are handling this stuff know what they're doing.
Exactly. Well, part of what makes it for residential use is our training process and the way we do the applications.
Okay.
So the technicians being aware of what we're doing, and we're using pesticides, so it's very important they understand the safety precautions that we go through.
Right.
Because that translates into our treatments being designed for residential use and safe for homes.
And part of what you guys do is really an education factor for the customer. So those guys have to know their stuff, because they have to communicate the way you talk about this stuff. And really, if you just go to mountlaural.mosquitosquad.com, you'll kind of get their philosophy and all of that, because it's about education. It's about understanding, the reasons why your yard has so many mosquitoes and all of those things, and what you're going to do to be able to get rid of them. Now, Obviously, mosquitoes are in the news a lot these days. They've been talking about this Zika virus that's been going on, and I'll tell you, because of what George does, and we'll talk about how he got into it in a little bit. That story is crazy, but anyway, so we're talking about the Zika virus, and George, you said you had some breaking news about this Zika virus today.
Yes, and actually on the mosquitosquad.com website /Zika, they have an entire portion of the site dedicated to updated Zika news from the CDC, from legitimate sources.
Okay.
They scour the entire media for the most up-to-date, legitimate sources.
Wow, so it all gets streamlined into one place.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So it's a one-stop shop for all news about Zika, and it's all factual. There's no opinion. It's not a sales site. It's 100% factual about what's going on.
Right.
And they just, as of yesterday, they're starting the first trials for a vaccine.
Really?
For Zika.
This is huge.
First human trial, very huge.
Yeah, this is big because I'm not sure, if you haven't heard, there was an issue a couple weeks ago where we had a woman with the Zika virus give birth, and the child was born with a very severe birth defect. So if we can come up with a vaccine for this thing and get rid of it, it's really going to help. It's going to obviously help us here in the States because we're dealing with it, but it's really going to help the places that...
It'll be a game changer.
Yeah. That's
really
exciting, and you said that you had breaking news, and I was like, well, don't tell me because I want to learn it on the air. That's awesome. That's bigger than breaking news. That's a game changer in research, science, and all this stuff. That's
I'm
really
sure
cool.
with the science, there's still ways to go before it's available to the public clearly, and to verify that it works. But they do have the first one that they feel confident enough to start the human trials.
Yeah, I mean,
that is a big step.
Yeah, that's huge because even if it's not in a situation where it's going to be readily available, if they start testing it and they have positive results, if you're contracted with it, you'll figure out a way to get what you need. I mean, that's how this type of scenario works.
Well, plus if you're traveling, it'll make you feel that much more safe.
Yeah, I
if
mean,
you're going to an area where this is a problem.
That's the big thing.
There's something that you can, potentially something available someday that you can do before you go to protect yourself.
And what Mosquito Squad does is they've kind of partnered themselves with a lot of different groups and a lot of organizations that are trying to kind of make sure that these diseases and stuff that are transmitted by these insects and these mosquitoes, you guys are involved with a stopping malaria program too.
Absolutely. We've been partnered with Malaria No More for quite a few years now. We are specifically helping Zambia right now.
Okay.
We even have franchisees that go visit on location, have been traveling with Malaria No More to hand out mosquito nets and provide funding, as well as vaccines for malaria itself.
That is awesome. I mean, we're talking about a company that has a really strong philosophy in helping really the world. We're talking about an American company that was started by just a hard-working family. All right, listen, this happens, George. This happens all the time. I run into breaks.
Right,
I run through them. Right. I have no concept of time. I just want to keep talking to you about Mosquito Squad. But that's the cool thing about Mosquito Squad is that they have a philosophy that they're not out there like the Wild West just trying to kill mosquitoes and bugs and stuff. That you guys are actually doing it with a little bit of thought and foresight and it is a family company. Even though Mosquito Squad is a big company with local franchises, they are a family company. And I want to talk about that coming up after the break because George has a really interesting story. So I will take the break. I know I have to. We will take that break, but stick through the commercials. We will be right back on Morning Coffee on the Radio Vision Network.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Extra Innings is the nation's premier indoor baseball and softball training center, featuring indoor batting cages, 7 multi-use tunnels, and training rooms. Extra Innings can provide professional instruction, private and group lessons, and the best year-round clinics. Along with a nationally recognized pro shop that features the latest and widest selection of equipment and apparel, our experienced staff can provide you with the right instruction and help you find the best equipment for your ability and budget. Extra Innings, where the game never ends.
Today's show has been sponsored by More Than Gifts. Come see our new location in Marlton, New Jersey. Not just gifts, but more. Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back to Morning Coffee. I am Mark Cook. This is the Radio Vision Network, and we are moving right along with George Softly, who is the co-owner of Mosquito Squad out here in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. But he covers the entire South Jersey region, right? You know, not just Mount Laurel. You call Mosquito Squad wherever you are in the area, they're going to get to you and they're going to take care of your issues. So before the break, we were talking about the Zika virus and how you guys have a real good corporate philosophy on education and helping different communities that deal with these problems. So I wanted to mention again this resource that you guys have on mosquitosquad.com that comes from the corporate office about the Zika virus, because a lot of people have questions and they hear these reports on the news and they're getting like half the story, George. You know how that goes?
That is why the company put together this website, to be informational and factual only. In fact, there are a lot of other mosquito companies out there that are trying to take advantage of people by the scare factor with Zika.
Right.
Quite frankly, the news has done enough of that. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to give people an actual resource, all consolidated. So we're searching all over the media, or I should say home offices,
right,
to put everything together for the site so that everyone has access to direct information related to the Zika virus.
Yeah, I looked at it very briefly, I'll be honest. I didn't get a chance to really dig into it, but it's very well organized that you can just go there and click on the different links from the different sources and you'll see. We're talking about sources like the CDC and government agencies that are the ones that are really the ones that are trying to control this information. Unfortunately, we've got so many media guys out there that are oh my God, we're all going to die for the Zika virus. You better not go outside and you better.
Exactly.
So
we want to eliminate the scare factor and really educate people, give them access to information, not sales pitches or scares.
Yeah, and it's a cool thing because it's based out of this philosophy of a family company that wants to have full disclosure with everything, and they want to have education to be a part of what they do. Again, it's not the Wild West where you just come in and shoot bugs and call it a day. This is a family business, and the history of it is so interesting. I want you to tell that story.
Well, the Mosquito Squad, our local Mosquito Squad, was started because of a need. My partner in business had contracted a tick-related disease. He also had young children, and he was looking for a new business in the area. So he found Mosquito Squad at a franchise convention, and it really piqued his interest. Mm-hmm. And he had already owned another franchise at the time, a residential cleaning company, and he was looking to expand. I was working with him doing the residential cleaning business and running that company for him, because my sister was actually a house cleaner for him when he first opened.
Wow, okay. I see where this is going.
So I was in the mortgage business at about 10 years ago, 12 years ago now, when everything went bad.
Yeah.
I was looking for another opportunity. So I knew that this gentleman had a business, a residential cleaning company.
Well, let's give him a shout out. Let's give him a
Steven
shout out.
Pazienza
Yeah, of
is
course.
my
What's up,
quote
Steve?
unquote rich dad. He's been my supporter in business and giving me entrepreneurial opportunities for the last 10 years, quite frankly. In both working and running the residential cleaning company with him, but learning from him about opening the business with Mosquito Squad.
Yeah, no, I don't know Steve personally, and I hope I get the chance to meet him, but what an interesting guy. I mean, obviously he faced some challenges when he contracted, it was Lyme's, right? It was
No, he actually contracted Rocky Mountain spotted fever and ehrlichiosis.
Oh, wow. So, okay. So we're talking about some pretty serious stuff, and forgive me, Steve, I didn't mean to misspeak there, but it's kind of a thing where these are the leaders in business that we want to emulate, and we want to be those are the guys that you want to like grab onto, and you expressed to me how lucky you felt to meet Steve and to be a part of his life and his businesses and all that stuff, and that's what led to where we are today.
Very much so. There are not many franchises or entrepreneurs out there that have franchises that are willing to really let someone get an opportunity to run things or get an opportunity to own a piece. And when we started, because of Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, quite frankly, I set up to meet him for lunch. Instead of going in for an interview or putting in an application, I wanted to take him out to lunch, which he didn't let me pay for, thankfully.
Of course, right.
But we discussed kind of what my options were. I approached him in a different way. I proposed that I was his business consultant and was willing to work off of extra profits instead of regular salary for a while. And he then asked me how many businesses I had owned at that point, if I was going to be his business consultant, and my answer unfortunately was 0.
Right.
But I had run many as a manager, in the restaurant business and some other fields. So I had supervised employees, I had run companies with 40 to 50 employees. So I had experience, but I'd never owned it.
Right.
So I'd never had the entrepreneurial experience.
Right.
So he recognized that I had some skills. He put an offer together for me. We then joined with the idea that someday I would have ownership, some kind of ownership.
Right.
And how we were going to go about that over the next 5 to 10 years. And at the time, it was mainly thinking about the cleaning company because that's what he had owned.
Right.
When he opened Mosquito Squad, I actually went to him prior to me knowing that he had bought it already, and said to him that I didn't know if it was a good idea. I wasn't necessarily the bug guy, and I was getting married and getting ready to have kids, and I didn't know if I was going to have the time to really dedicate to the business and the family at the same time.
Right.
And it was a Saturday morning when I told him this, and he looked at me and he said, "Well, I wish you had told me that yesterday." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I gave them a check yesterday."
Oh!
My next statement to him was, "I will back your play 100% no matter what it takes. We'll win."
Wow.
And he said, "Okay." And from there, he then, actually, it wasn't but 3 or 4 weeks later that he had gotten bit by a tick again and had contracted the Rocky Mountain spotted fever.
Wow.
So it had ehrlichiosis earlier in his life, which is what caused him to get the business.
Okay.
And then in the processes of us buying, before we opened, he also got Rocky Mountain spotted fever, which knocked him out of commission.
Yeah.
Literally not able to work for almost 2 months. He was so run down he couldn't be effective.
Yeah, that's really serious stuff, and it's a kind of a good place for me to stop and remind everybody that we have a lot of that in this area. We have a lot of ticks, we have a lot of mosquitoes, we have a lot of different things that carry really serious problems with them.
Yes.
And that's why there is a need for Mosquito Squad. And if you live in Medford, Marlton, parts of Cherry Hill, parts of Morristown, parts of Mount Laurel, these are wooded areas. These are really old trees and old woods that we have. And that's where they live. This stuff is in our backyard, folks, literally. And that's why there's such a need.
Exactly. And Burlington County is the capital of Lyme's in the state.
Yeah.
There's more cases in Burlington County.
My dog contracted Lyme's in Burlington County.
Say it's,
That's how I moved to Camden County. I had to.
Say it's a shame. It is a shame that there's that many problems and dangers out there related to it.
Yeah.
And it's something that people really have to take seriously.
Well, yeah, because people want to be outside. I was just walking the dog. He gets a tick. I pulled the tick off. I didn't know until he went to the vet. He contracted Lyme's disease.
Yeah.
I mean, this is stuff that we got to think about because you just want to be outside, enjoy our nature, enjoy what we have here in New Jersey because it's not all sewage treatment plants like what people want us to think. But
no, and the thing is, it's not just yards that are accessible to deer anymore. It's
right,
small animals That's
Right.
what the youngest ticks, the nymph stage ticks they call them, actually attach
Carry
to
them around.
first is the small animals.
Yeah.
And that's where they do their nesting and their growth.
George, we got so much more to talk about, but again, I did it again. I ran right over a break. Abby is pulling her hair out back there because she's like, "You gotta take a break. These people paid for their commercials." All right, we'll do it. We'll take another break, but we will be right back, and we will wrap up with George Softly from the Mosquito Squad. Stick around.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
Saving your business money is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Tanker Consulting Services, a payment solutions expert, will show you how with a free, detailed, written analysis illustrating your cost savings. We usually uncover savings between 10 and 25%, and sometimes more. We can help your business succeed by providing reliable and secure merchant payment solutions such as merchant services programs, point-of-sale systems, and ATM machines. TCS, one of the leaders in regional credit card processing consulting, offers electronic payments to merchants locally and nationwide through our preferred vendor programs. We work to keep business costs down with a comprehensive suite of quality products, services, and customized credit card processing programs exclusively tailored for your company. TCS is convenient, reliable, and innovative, with customer service available 24/7, 365 days a year. Our in-depth industry knowledge, partnership strategy, and innovative processing solutions allow for a specialized approach to providing merchant bank processing with 100% full fee disclosure. TCS is one-stop shopping for all your merchant services solutions. Our clients save money 100% of the time. Trust Tanker Consulting Services, the knowledgeable, professional, and friendly provider of secure payment services. We set the standard by which others are measured. Call now for a free written analysis. 609-922-0201.
Welcome back. It's Morning Coffee. I am Mark Cook. This is the Radio Vision Network. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're talking to George Softly, who is the co-owner for Mosquito Squad, and we have run the gamut. We have talked about so much stuff. I told you it was going to go fast, didn't I? You didn't believe me.
I didn't realize it was going to go nearly this fast.
So what happens is that it just means that we got to invite you back. And if I can get Steve and his schedule sorted out, I'd love to have both you guys come back and talk a little bit more. But we've got a few more minutes, so I wanted to just touch on a few more things about, let's talk specifically about treating some of the yards. Because look, I've got people that own homes that have big yards. I've got businesses that have properties that need taken care of with mosquitoes and stuff.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some of the execution. We haven't really jumped into some of the nuts and bolts of what you guys do.
No problem. Let's say the nuts and bolts, really the foundation of our program is our barrier spray. Now, in addition to that, we do other things, but the barrier spray itself will treat around the perimeter of properties, and then around the areas inside that either people are more likely to use, like pools, patios, decks, playgrounds, that kind of thing, or areas that are going to be specifically mosquito or tick breeding, feeding, or harboring grounds.
And that's like a lot of the standing water, maybe ponds and stuff like that?
Exactly. Dense shrubs, ivy, things like that are huge harboring areas.
I hate poison ivy.
Also, we eliminate, while we're there doing our barrier sprays, which act as a repellent.
Okay.
They kill all the mosquitoes and ticks in the yard at the time. And they also provide residual protection for about 3 weeks after each treatment.
Oh, cool.
So if mosquitoes or ticks do find their way in, they break through the barrier, a couple get in, when they land or feed on those areas that we've treated, they'll still be eliminated.
That's so cool. Because look, I like the scenario where you have that automatic system that either works on the schedule or works by the button, but it's really good to know that if I'm having a big party and I want to get my yard treated, that yeah, I can have it last for a couple more weeks after
Absolutely.
that. That's a really cool thing. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that, look, I've talked about how active they are in the community and how they want to educate and they want to be involved with stopping diseases and all that stuff. With all of that being said, it's affordable to have you guys come out and treat my yard. It's not going to break the bank.
Not at all. Our full season packages are under $100 a month. Honestly,
Really?
if you start with us from April to October, it's basically $100 a month or less.
And I'm totally covered with anything.
Absolutely, we have a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Wow.
If somebody is having a problem in the 3 weeks they're supposed to be covered after that, they give us a call and let us know there's an issue. We come back out, re-inspect, and retreat to make sure that everything stays that way.
That's awesome. That is a quality control that most businesses don't have in place, because you're actually going to stand by what you guys do, and if there's ever any issue or problem under that plan where it's an automatic type thing that you guys come out and you correct things immediately. That's really good to know.
A very simple business principle that I have built the entire business around, and that is, we call it ADTRT,
Okay.
which to anybody else in the world is just some letters.
Right.
But to all of our guys, it's always do the right thing. So from the business, the owners, the technicians,
That's awesome.
It's always ADTRT. When there's a question, that's the first thing that pops into their head. We've been trying to go over that as a business since we started. So honoring what you do and going back and making sure that you're doing everything you can do to eliminate it, you do.
It's so cool when you have business guys that get it, that understand, that want to just give them the opportunity for them to help you. It's so simple. That's all they want, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody sets up these businesses and they're like, I just need people to come in and I'll show them how great we are. Mosquito Squad is doing it. That's what it is, and that's why you're here. That's why you want people to know how awesome your service is,
Absolutely.
how affordable your service is, how it's so weird to say, but when you hire Mosquito Squad to come and treat your yard or whatever you have them do, you become part of the Mosquito Squad family, which is kind of like...
Our welcome letters actually say, welcome to the Mosquito Squad family.
Yeah,
If
it's
somebody
cool.
signs up for service with us, we are completely focused around that. Well, we're just like our customers.
Right.
I have a wife, I have kids, I have a yard.
Yeah.
I have mosquito and tick problem. Well, I used to before I
Yeah,
had
right.
Mosquito Squad. But it's really about family. It's about allowing people to enjoy their yards. So it's a happy business. There are not a lot of businesses where you get to really make people truly happy.
Yeah.
We provide a service that allows people and their children and their friends to enjoy their yards that they spend so much time, energy, and money on.
Yeah.
They get to actually enjoy
You're
it.
so
it's
right.
a great feeling to be able to allow people to do that.
I'll tell you, it's happened to me more than once, and I'll tell you, now don't try to come find me, but I live in Pensauken, right? So, I meant that in a nice way. You can come try to find me if you want, I guess. I don't know why you would want to, but anyway. There have been times where, like, I've had to go inside. I've wanted to set up outside, and then I have to go in because I've got some trees around me. They're old as all anything, and, you know, I've got mosquitoes, I've got stuff, I've got bugs, and man, look, I have a pretty high tolerance. I can handle it for a little while, but that just means there's so many, and there's an opportunity for Mosquito Squad to come over, and maybe I have to make a phone call to you guys, and you'll take care of it.
We'll definitely help you out.
Because that's the thing, is that it's that simple. All you have to do is give them a call or go to mosquitosquad.com, and they're going to eliminate that problem for you. So, George, this is the time of the show. Everybody loves it. This is the best part. I'm going to have you look into camera 3 right there,
Okay.
and I want you to say whatever you want to say. Let's try to keep it related to Mosquito Squad.
Okay.
You know, I don't want you to go on any political rants or anything crazy with this election coming up, but just give any information that you'd like to give right now.
Well, Mosquito Squad and myself, George Softly, are always going to do our 100% best to make sure that we help your property and that you do enjoy it. That is our goal, no matter what. We try to make the services affordable and reasonable, so give us a call, get a quote. Our real thing is, why not protect yourself? Why not allow yourself to enjoy your yard? That's what we want to allow you to do, and we want to do it in as safe and effective a manner as possible.
He's the man. He's George Softly. Check him out at mosquitosquad.com. All of the info is there. And if you want to get more specific, mountlaurel.mosquitosquad.com. But mosquitosquad.com will get you where you have to go. If you're even remotely interested, if you've even thought of this, if you've thought to yourself, I'm going to run to the big chain store and buy something for the yard, don't do that. Go to mosquitosquad.com. Call George. They will take care of you better than you could possibly imagine. George, thanks for coming in this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're
Appreciate
quite
it.
welcome. I got to take a quick break here on Morning Coffee, but we will be right back. Stick around on the Radio Vision Network.